Welcome to Beyond the Veil. I'm Elliot Gray, and this is a show about exploring the spaces between waking and sleeping, between the known and the mysterious, between science and whatever lies beyond what science can currently explain. Here's something strange. Every single night, without fail, we travel to a world where the laws of physics don't really apply. We can walk through walls, talk to people who've been gone for years, turn into a bird or a ball of light, and it all feels perfectly normal while it's happening. Then morning comes, the alarm goes off, and like mist in sunlight, that whole world disappears. Maybe we remember scraps of it. Maybe we forget it entirely. But still, we go back the very next night, and the next, and the next. If you think about it, we spend something like 6 years of our lives dreaming. 6 years. That's more time than most people spend in college. More time than we spend eating or exercising or, well, probably more time than I've spent trying to figure out how to fold a fitted sheet properly. I'm fascinated by this. We have this incredible, mysterious experience every night, and most of us barely give it a second thought. We wake up, shake off the memory of a weird dream, and move on with our day. But what if we're missing something important here? In this first episode, we're going to dive deep into one of the oldest and most mysterious questions humans have ever asked. Why do we dream? And more importantly, what can our dreams teach us about the nature of consciousness itself? For thousands of years, cultures all over the world have been fascinated by dreams. The ancient Egyptians believed they were messages from the gods, written in hieroglyphic dream books that still exist today. The Greeks thought dreams could predict the future. In fact, they had these incredible temples called Asclepions, where people would travel from hundreds of miles away to sleep overnight, hoping to receive healing visions from the god Asclepius. Imagine that for a moment. You're sick, maybe desperately so, and instead of going to a doctor, you pack up your belongings and make this pilgrimage to a sacred temple. You participate in purification rituals, maybe fast for days, then lie down in this holy space and hope your dreams will cure you. And here's the thing that gets me. It apparently worked often enough that these temples operated for over 1,000 years. 1,000 years. That's not just wishful thinking, that's a sustained practice based on real results. Let me tell you about what got me interested in this topic in the first place. About 2 years ago, I was going through what I guess you'd call a quarter-life crisis. Well, maybe a third-life crisis. I'm not sure I'm optimistic enough to assume I'll live to 120. I was feeling really stuck, professionally and personally. You know that feeling where you're going through the motions of your life, but nothing feels quite real? Like you're watching yourself from the outside, thinking, is this it? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? And then I had this dream. I was walking along a coastline I'd never seen before. Black volcanic sand, these incredible cliffs that seemed to stretch forever. The sky was this impossible color, like if purple and gold had a baby, and that baby could somehow also be green. And in the dream, I felt this overwhelming urge to paint what I was seeing. Now, I should mention that I can't paint to save my life. My artistic abilities peaked in second grade with finger painting. But in the dream, I wasn't worried about skill or technique. I just knew I had to try to capture this beauty, this moment. I woke up with tears in my eyes. And for the first time in months, I felt awake, alert, like something in me had been switched on. I wrote down every detail I could remember, and that image stayed with me for weeks. It actually ended up inspiring me to make some big changes in my life, including, ultimately, starting this podcast. That experience made me realize I'd been completely ignoring this whole dimension of my existence. Here I was, having these rich, complex, emotionally powerful experiences every night, and I was treating them like background noise, like mental screensavers. So I started paying attention. I began keeping a dream journal, just scribbling down whatever fragments I could remember when I woke up. And I started researching dream practices from different traditions, trying to understand what our ancestors might have known that we'd forgotten. That's when I discovered this app called Mindful Slumber. It's based on Tibetan dream yoga practices, but adapted for modern life. Instead of having to read dense philosophical texts or find a qualified teacher, I could just pull out my phone and learn these ancient techniques. At first, I was skeptical. I mean, an app for dream practice? It seemed almost too convenient. but I downloaded it anyway, and honestly, it changed everything about how I relate to sleep and dreaming. Tibetan dream yoga, or Milam in Tibetan, isn't what most people think when they hear dream work. It's not about interpreting symbols or analyzing what your dreams mean. It's about using the dream state itself as a training ground for awareness, for recognizing the fluid, impermanent nature of all experience. Here's the basic premise, and it's pretty mind-bending when you really think about it. Tibetan practitioners see waking life as the big dream and nightly dreams as the small dream. Both are impermanent, both are constructions of mind, both are ultimately empty of inherent existence. If you can learn to wake up inside the small dream, to become lucid, you develop the capacity to wake up within the big dream of ordinary life. I've been using the Mindful Slumber app for about 8 months now, and my dream life has become, well, it's like discovering you have this whole other existence that you'd been sleepwalking through. I'm remembering dreams almost every night now, whereas before I might remember 1 or 2 dreams per month. And I'm becoming lucid maybe once or twice a week, which apparently is pretty good for someone who's relatively new to the practice. But here's what's really interesting. The lucid dreams aren't even the most valuable part. It's the overall quality of awareness that's changed. I'm more present during the day, more aware of my mental patterns and reactions. It's like the dream practice is training a muscle of mindfulness that stays active when I'm awake. So if you're curious about exploring your own dream world, where do you start? The foundation of any dream practice is dream recall. Most of us forget our dreams within minutes of waking up, but with some simple techniques, you can dramatically improve your ability to remember them. First, intention matters. Before you go to sleep, tell yourself that you want to remember your dreams. It sounds simple, but it works. Your unconscious mind responds to clear intentions. Keep something to record with right by your bed. I use my phone because I can record voice memos without even opening my eyes. The key is capturing whatever you remember immediately. Don't wait until after you brush your teeth or have coffee. Dreams are like smoke. They dissipate quickly once you start moving around. If you want to dive deeper, I really recommend checking out apps like Mindful Slumber. Having guided practices and a structured approach makes a huge difference, especially when you're starting out. Plus, the community aspect is valuable, being able to share experiences and learn from other practitioners. So why do we dream? After all this exploration, I'm more convinced than ever that there isn't one simple answer. Dreams are memory consolidation and spiritual practice. They're random neural firing and meaningful symbols. They're evolutionary adaptation and doorway to the sacred. Maybe the multiplicity of explanations is the point. Maybe dreams are big enough to hold all these truths simultaneously. What I do know is that paying attention to our dreams enriches life in ways I never expected. It's like discovering you have access to this incredible library of experiences, insights, and possibilities that's been available to you every night, and you just never bothered to check it out. In our next episode, Gateway to Lucid Living, we're going to explore how awareness in dreams can actually enhance awareness in waking life. We'll dive deep into practical lucid dreaming techniques, and I'm going to share a beautiful nightly intention setting ritual that I've adapted from the Mindful Slumber app. Until then, I hope you'll consider giving your dreams a little more attention. Maybe keep a notebook by your bed tonight, or download that app I mentioned. Set the intention to remember, to be curious, to treat your sleeping mind as the remarkable, creative force that it is. Sleep well, dream wide, and remember, every night is an opportunity for adventure, insight, and wonder. You just have to decide to show up for it.